If blood is supposed to be thicker than water, then why did my own sister stab me in the back while I was pregnant and bedridden? I was 7 months pregnant when everything began to fall apart. The pregnancy was difficult from the start: severe nausea, dizzy spells, muscle weakness. The doctors called it a high-risk pregnancy, so I was ordered to stay in bed. No movement, no stress, just rest. My husband Aaron was supportive at first. He took time off work, cooked for me, helped with my medication, and reassured me that he'd be by my side through it all, and I believed him. After all, we had been married for 5 years, and I thought I knew the man I married. I was wrong. My younger sister Ella had moved in temporarily to help out. She was always the carefree one, beautiful, charming, the kind of girl who never stayed in one place for long. She had broken up with her boyfriend recently and asked to crash with us for a while. I thought, why not? It's family. What could go wrong? I welcomed her with open arms, never once thinking that she would be the one to destroy the peace in my home. I began to notice small things at first. Erin would laugh a little too loudly at her jokes. Ella started dressing differently around the house, satiny shorts, loose shirts with no bra. But I chalked it up to her usual free spirit. I didn't want to be the jealous pregnant wife who suspected everyone. But something deep inside me started to feel off. And then I installed a baby monitor. I didn't know that little camera would reveal the biggest betrayal of my life. For weeks, I tried to ignore the tiny voice inside my head that screamed something was wrong. I was tired, more tired than pregnancy should make you feel, and my heart often felt heavy with unease. I kept telling myself, "You're just stressed. It's the pregnancy hormones." But deep down, I knew the truth was darker. Aaron started coming home late. Not just late, but sometimes he didn't come home at all. When I asked, he said he had to work overtime or meet with clients. I believed him because I wanted to believe. Ella began disappearing during the day too, sometimes showing up in the evening with a perfume scent that wasn't hers. One afternoon, while lying in bed, I overheard a conversation that chilled me. I was supposed to be resting, but I couldn't stop my mind from wandering to the strange tension between Aaron and Ella. The baby monitor I set up to keep track of the nursery was actually picking up sounds from the living room and kitchen. On that day, I heard whispers. Whispered laughter, the sound of a woman's voice close to Aaron's. I held my breath, listening. "Aaron," I heard Ella say softly. "I can't stop thinking about you," he whispered back. My heart sank. I felt like the room was closing in on me. I wanted to scream, to confront them, but my body wouldn't move. The betrayal was too much to handle all at once. I cried silently into my pillow, wondering how my sister, the one who was supposed to love me, could do this. And how Aaron, the man who promised to protect me and our child, could betray me like this. That night, I decided to watch more closely. I had to know the full truth, no matter how painful. If I hadn't turned on the baby monitor that night, I would have lived in ignorance a little longer. My doctor had insisted we install one in the bedroom to monitor my condition since I was on strict bed rest. Aaron was the one who bought it, set it up, and even tested it proudly, like a good, attentive husband. Funny how he never imagined it would betray him instead of protect me. That night, I had a strange feeling. Aaron told me he needed to step out to grab some air after dinner. Ella had just gone to the guest room to lie down, and I was alone, exhausted but restless. The silence in the house wasn't comforting, it was suffocating. I picked up the baby monitor and flipped to the guest room channel, mostly out of boredom, but what I saw snapped me out of my fog instantly. There they were, Aaron and Ella. On the screen, in the guest room. His shirt was already halfway off. She was laughing, tugging at his arm like they were in some romantic comedy instead of my home, instead of my life. I felt my heart drop. It wasn't just a kiss. It wasn't just flirting. It was deliberate. They knew I couldn't move. They knew I was helpless, stuck in bed, carrying the child he swore he wanted. I froze. Not because I didn't believe it, but because deep down, I did. I had suspected, feared, but never confirmed until now. I watched through the monitor with shaking hands as they touched, whispered, kissed like I was already dead to them. I turned off the screen slowly, and for the first time since I became pregnant, I didn't cry. I plotted. The next day, I moved the baby monitor camera from the nursery to the living room. I told Aaron it was because I wanted to hear the front door when he left for work. He didn't even question it. Ella smirked a little when I said it, but I ignored her. I had a mission now, one that no amount of denial could kill. That evening, I pretended to be asleep when Aaron came home. I heard his footsteps pause at my door, then move toward the living room. My heart raced. I waited until I heard Ella's soft laugh again, then reached for my phone. The baby monitor was connected to an app. I opened it, pressed Live View, And what I saw broke me. There they were on my couch. Aaron's hand was on Ella's thigh. She didn't push him away. She leaned in, her mouth close to his. And then they kissed. Passionately, like I didn't exist. Like the baby in my belly didn't exist. My own husband, my own sister. I dropped the phone and curled into myself, shaking. This wasn't a dream, this was real, and I had proof now. But what was I going to do with it? How do you even begin to confront the two people closest to you when they've torn your world apart? I wasn't just hurt, I was angry. The kind of anger that sits in your bones and refuses to let go. I decided right then, I wouldn't scream. I wouldn't cry in front of them. I'd plan. I'd watch longer. I would gather everything I needed. And when the time came, I'd make sure they regretted ever thinking I was too weak to fight back. I didn't sleep that night. The image of Aaron and Ella kissing kept replaying in my head like a horror film stuck on a loop. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw his hand on her thigh. I saw her smile. That smile used to mean innocence. Now it meant betrayal. The next morning, I ordered a second hidden camera one with night vision and motion alerts. If they were doing this under my roof, I needed more than just one lucky recording. I needed patterns. I needed evidence. I needed to be sure that when I confronted them, there would be no room for lies. 2 days later, while Aaron was at work and Ella was out getting groceries, I set up the new camera in the hallway. I angled it to capture the path between the guest room and the master bedroom. I knew they weren't stupid enough to sneak into my room while I was awake, but when I slept, especially on sleeping meds prescribed for my back pain, they had opportunity. That night, it happened again. At 1:13 a.m., I got an alert. My heart pounded as I opened the app. There she was, tiptoeing past my door in a silk robe. 2 minutes later, Aaron followed her, shirtless. My blood turned cold. I knew where they were going, and I had it all recorded. They weren't even trying to hide anymore. Now that I had proof, I knew I couldn't just expose them on a whim. It had to be big. It had to be public. I needed them to feel the same shame and humiliation I felt every day, lying in that bed, pregnant and powerless. But I wasn't powerless, not anymore. First, I contacted a lawyer. I didn't want to file for divorce just yet, but I wanted to know my rights. I wanted to know how I could protect myself and my unborn child. The lawyer was kind, careful with her words, but I saw her expression change when I showed her the footage. "This is more than infidelity," she said. "It's emotional abuse." She encouraged me to continue gathering evidence and suggested a plan, one that would keep me safe legally and emotionally when I finally confronted them. Next, I reached out to Aaron's boss. Why? Because the company he worked for had a strict code of conduct, and workplace reputation was everything. I didn't tell them anything yet, I just found out who to contact. My goal wasn't just to hurt him emotionally, I wanted to ruin his image too. Ella wouldn't be spared either. Then, I contacted a family friend, a videographer, under the pretense of planning a surprise gender reveal party. "I want everything recorded," I said sweetly. Every face, every reaction. I was setting the stage. Let them laugh now. The joke was almost over. Aaron had been begging me to have a baby, shower, or gender reveal for weeks. I always said no, too tired, too stressed. But now I said yes. I smiled sweetly and told him I wanted it small, just close friends and family. Ella was over the moon. She thought I was softening, that I was accepting everything without ever knowing what was really happening. I pretended to be excited. We ordered cupcakes, balloons, even printed out fake ultrasound images with "It's a girl" in pink letters. I let them plan everything. All I did was set the guest list and arrange for hidden cameras. I invited Aaron's parents. I invited my extended family. I even invited a few of Ella's old college friends. Anyone who would recognize her. Anyone who would witness what I had to reveal. The night before the party, I could barely sleep. My heart thudded so loudly I thought it might wake the baby. But I wasn't scared. I was ready. Ella wore a blush pink dress that clung to her like a second skin. Aaron couldn't take his eyes off her. The two of them looked like a couple playing pretend at a family gathering. If only they knew they were hours away from the end of their game. I stood tall, hand on my belly, smiling like a woman who didn't know. But I knew everything. And soon, everyone else would too. 30 minutes before the official gender reveal, I excused myself to the living room and tapped a glass. The chatter died down. Everyone looked my way, smiling. They thought I was about to share baby news. They had no idea I was about to shatter the entire room. Before we cut the cake, I began, "I want to show a little video I put together. Just a timeline of the pregnancy and the support I've had along the way." Aaron smiled proudly. Ella looked amused. She even waved at the camera. Sickening. The screen lit up. It started innocently clips of our ultrasound, a few shots of Aaron reading baby books, me lying in bed, smiling weakly. Then came the shift. Footage from the baby monitor. At first, it was blurry, just silhouettes, sounds, whispers. Then clearer. Aaron kissing Ella, her sneaking into his room. Their naked bodies blurred only slightly. The moans were unmistakable. Gasps filled the room. A wine glass shattered. Aaron froze. Ella's face turned white. One of her friends cursed out loud. I looked at both of them and said calmly, "Surprise! It's not a girl. It's the end of your little affair." Aaron stammered, "Babe, wait." Ella shouted, "You set us up." I laughed. "No, you did that yourselves. I just brought the receipts." Aaron's parents walked out. My family stared in horror. And I stood there, no longer the victim, but the woman who refused to stay silent. Aaron lost most of his friends. No one respected him anymore. No one wanted to be associated with a man who cheated on his pregnant wife with her sister. His family stopped speaking to him entirely. Even his mother, who once adored him, blocked his number. Ella tried returning to our parents' house, but my mother slammed the door in her face. "You didn't just hurt your sister," she told her. "You made a mockery of our entire family." She was forced to move into a dingy apartment outside the city alone. Meanwhile, I started healing. I went to therapy, joined a support group for single mothers, and slowly rebuilt my confidence. The baby was growing strong and healthy. Every kick reminded me that I wasn't alone. I was carrying a future worth fighting for. And best of all, I was free from lies, free from pretending, free from the poisonous love I thought I needed. I wasn't just surviving anymore. I was reclaiming everything they tried to steal. Aaron showed up again, uninvited and unannounced, at my doctor's office parking lot. I was waddling toward my car when I heard his voice. "Please just talk to me." I turned slowly, my eyes sharp, my heart calm. "Why?" "I messed up," he said, voice cracking. "I lost everything. You, the baby, my job, my family. I need a second chance." I almost laughed. A second chance? After cheating on your pregnant wife with her sister? After planning to divorce me once I gave birth? He looked broken. "I didn't mean it. I was stupid. I thought I'd be happy with Ella. But she lied about being pregnant, and she's not you." "No," I said coldly. "She's not me, and she never will be." He reached for my hand. "Please, let me be a father to our child." "I'll allow you to co-parent," I said firmly, "because the baby deserves support. But as for us, we're done. Forever. You'll never step foot in my house again." He started crying. Real, ugly sobs. But I didn't feel pity anymore. Just peace. Because when you stop loving someone who betrayed you, their tears become meaningless. A week later, I got an unexpected call from Ella's old roommate. "Are you okay?" she asked cautiously. "I'm doing better, actually." "Why?" "It's Ella," she said. "She's not okay. She hasn't eaten in days. She's paranoid, won't leave the apartment, keeps saying she's being followed." I didn't say anything. "She's blaming you, says you destroyed her life." I took a deep breath. I didn't destroy anything. She chose her path. I just exposed it. The roommate sighed. "I believe you. I just thought you should know." She's spiraling. For a moment, I felt something stir in me. Not sympathy, not anger, just finality. Ella had always been the golden one growing up, pretty popular, praised. I was the quiet sister, the dependable one, the invisible one, until she crossed the line and I stood up. Now, she had nothing and I had everything she threw away. Sometimes, justice doesn't roar. Sometimes, it just watches quietly while the guilty unravel. And I was watching. The night my water broke, I was alone, and I was glad for it. No drama, no lies, no toxic people hovering over me pretending to care. Just peace. And the little life inside me ready to meet the world. The labor was long and painful. The nurses held my hand when I cried. A kind doctor whispered encouragements. And then, after what felt like an eternity, I heard the most beautiful sound I'd ever heard. A sharp, strong cry. My baby was here. They laid her on my chest, pink and wriggling. She gripped my finger as if she already knew me. And in that moment, everything fell away. The betrayal, the heartbreak, the bitterness. None of it mattered anymore. She was here. She was mine. I named her Hope, because that's what she was. Aaron tried to come to the hospital. I didn't let him in. The nurses followed my instructions strictly. Only allow those on the list. He wasn't on it. Neither was Ella. He sent flowers. I had them thrown out. This moment was sacred. This moment was for healing. And they had no place in it. A few weeks after Hope's birth, I wrote something I never thought I would. A letter. To the people who had watched the gender reveal meltdown video. To the ones who had messaged me, supported me, and even those who had judged me. I posted it publicly on my blog and social media. To every woman who's ever been betrayed, lied to, or discarded when she was most vulnerable. I see you. I was you. I was pregnant, in pain, and alone, while the two people I trusted most chose pleasure over loyalty. But I survived. I didn't survive because I'm special. I survived because I stopped waiting for apologies and started reclaiming my power. To Aaron and Ella, thank you. You taught me that betrayal doesn't break strong women. It reveals them. To my daughter Hope, you are the reason I will never settle again. We rise. We heal. We win. The letter went viral. Thousands of women commented, shared their own stories, called me brave. But I didn't feel brave. I just felt free. A month later, I received one final message from Aaron. I saw the letter. I know I'll never deserve forgiveness, but I want you to know I regret everything. You were the best thing that ever happened to me. I didn't just lose my wife, I lost myself. I stared at the message for a while, not out of sadness, but because I didn't feel anything. No anger, no pain, just nothing. He wanted closure, maybe redemption, but he would never get it from me. Not because I hated him, but because I had moved on. Truly. I didn't respond. Instead, I looked at Hope sleeping peacefully beside me, her tiny chest rising and falling, her fingers curled into fists of quiet strength. She didn't need a father who abandoned her before she was born. She needed a mother who would fight for her, protect her, and teach her her worth. And that's exactly what I intended to be. For her, and for myself. Ella didn't reach out again, not to apologize, not to ask for forgiveness, not even to see the baby she once hoped to replace. I heard from our cousin that she had dropped out of school and moved to another city. She was working part-time jobs, barely making rent. People whispered about how she lost everything over a man who never stayed, a man who never loved her enough to defend her when the world turned on them. She had made her choice, and I had made mine. I erased her from my life. I stopped telling the story with pain. I told it with strength, with clarity, because the moment I gave birth to Hope, I stopped being a victim of what was done to me and became the author of what comes next. People often ask if I'll ever speak to Ella again. The truth? I've already said everything I needed to. The silence between us now is louder than any words. She's a stranger to me, a name I once knew, a shadow I've outgrown, and I don't feel sorry for her anymore. Some betrayals don't come with second chances. It's been a year. Hope just turned 1. She's walking now, more like wobbling, really, but every step she takes reminds me of my own. I moved to a new city, got a new job, started a small business on the side. I laugh more. I sleep better. I'm not constantly watching my back. My world is quieter, healthier, full of people who value honesty over performance. I still co-parent with Aaron, but strictly through legal channels. He pays child support and visits once a month under supervision. That's all he gets. No long talks, no forgiveness, just boundaries. Some people say I'm strong. Some say I'm cold. But I know the truth. I'm healed. The story they wrote for me, betrayal, heartbreak, abandonment. I rewrote it. I took the ending and flipped it on its head. I didn't just survive what they did. I thrived because of it. And now, when Hope looks up at me with her big, curious eyes, I don't see pain anymore. I see power, legacy, new beginnings. Because in the end, this wasn't a story about cheating. It was a story about rising. And I rose. If you've come this far, thank you for watching. To anyone who has ever felt betrayed, abandoned, or unseen, you are not weak. You are not broken. You are someone who rose from the ashes and chose to rewrite your story. Maybe they thought you'd stay silent. Maybe they thought you'd never heal. But you did more than survive. You rose. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more powerful stories of pain turned into purpose. Drop a comment if you've ever had to walk away from someone who betrayed you. Your story might just help someone else heal. You are enough, just as you are.